G'day traders, 1 minute mindset reset. Today we're talking about focusing on what works. You know, I use a lot of sports analogies and different stories from different people. You know, I talk a lot about, I love listening to people's stories about overcoming challenging circumstances and persevering and becoming resilient, and then the ones who finally crack through. And trading is a lot like that. And Dorian Yates has a great story about how he journaled everything. For those of you who don't know who Dorian Yates is, he's arguably probably the greatest bodybuilder next to Arnold of all time. He transformed the sport just with his mass and just everything that he did in the late 80s, early 90s was changed the sport. And he was all self-taught. He did everything on his own. He didn't have any coaching. He read everything, made his own detailed notes, trial and error, persevered through a lot of challenging circumstances. But one of the things he talks about is that he would read workouts of other great traders and then try them. So for example, he isn't a big fan of bench press for his own workout routine because he didn't feel that it gave him the gains that other bodybuilders got from it. And so he would try something, and if he didn't see the results for himself, he would discard that. So trial and error and fail forward. And trading is a lot like that. So I talk about using a very simple model for myself based on time, based on highs and lows, weekly, monthly, engulfments, pin hammers, reversal patterns. Time of day is very specific for me, and the range of movement for profit taking based on the setup, the size per trade, the time allowed in the trade, all of those things, because through my experience of trial and error, I know what works for me, I know it's reproducible, and I know where I've made a lot of mistakes. And learning from those mistakes rather than trying to repeat them, which I did several times, but then learning from those and then crafting that model that I knew would work for me, that I could duplicate, that I could scale up. And then I whittled that down to the highest probability setups, when they occurred, how often they occurred, how many instruments they occurred on, and what were the variations for me when I entered those trades for adding size, taking positions out, all of those things, which then I could enable me to grow and scale up my trading business. And those are the things that you can take and apply for yourself, what works for you. There are certain things, certain time zones, different traders, I have traders from all over the world following me. Obviously, you're going to be in different time zones. You're going to have times of day that you're not going to be able to trade because of where you're located. You're not missing out on anything because there's plenty of trade opportunities that happen all the time. I miss out on a lot of trade opportunities later in the US session because I'm in bed sleeping. My point is to emphasize taking what works for you and focusing on what works, narrowing that down, keep narrowing it down to the highest probability opportunities, and continuously focus on those. Focusing on what works and what will grow your trading account rather than trying to trade everything and trade movements in the market. Really hone down and focus on what's going to give you the success. So hopefully you got value from today's video, traders. Again, thanks for hitting the like button, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for a ton of emails and questions, and I'll try to get through and answer all of those. Make this a great day, and may the markets go with you.